Hey guys, how's it going? It's Etanyos here. Welcome to my NHL 22 wishlist video. And this video today is going to be going over confirmed features, next-gen consoles, online features, offline features, and of course, my subscriber comments and what you guys think on the video. So let's get into this. So just before we get started here, if you enjoy the video, make sure to go down below and drop a like on it. And of course, drop your comments for what you think about this video in NHL 22 in your opinion. I want to hear it in the comments below, and of course subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the notification bell to never miss when these uploads come out. EA will be releasing NHL 22 on October 15th, 2021. We only have about 2 months left on NHL 21, but thank goodness, honestly. It's hard not to pick apart NHL 21 and point out the flaws, issues, and lack of overall game improvement from NHL 20 to NHL 21. But in their defense, this game was released in the middle of a global pandemic, and I'm sure that EA had a lot more planned than they were actually able to release in NHL 21. So let's try not to bash EA too much, because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have a decent hockey video game to play. Also, this video will not be focusing on Hockey Ultimate Team improvements as a wishlist item. I believe EA will need to round out their game a little bit more if they want to become more successful with NHL in the future. And yes, I understand that HUT is their top selling game mode because it's pay to win, but there are many players out there, like myself, who hardly touch Hockey Ultimate Team at all throughout the year. So let's get into my wish list, and let me know what you personally want to see in NHL 22 in the comments below. For those of you who haven't seen the NHL 22 trailer yet, you might want to go and watch it. Also, I did react to the trailer when it was first released, and that video will be available in the top right corner of the screen. But to break down the trailer, all we have confirmed with NHL 22 is that some new animations and play features will be available, since the game will now be on the Frostbite game engine over the old Ignite game engine. And NHL will also have Superstar X Factors, which make players like Connor McDavid, Andrei Vasilevsky, Austin Matthews, etc. stand out from less superstar caliber NHL players. So with the Xbox Series X and S and PS5 being released at the beginning of 2021, EA now has been tasked with moving their game over to next generation consoles again. I really hope EA learned from their last transition of next-gen consoles, and hopefully we will see this time go a lot smoother than last time with NHL 15. So as I just mentioned, NHL 22 will be run on the Frostbite engine. This software was quite successful for EA's headliner games like FIFA and Madden when they were originally transitioned to the new game engine. And although Frostbite is at heart a first-person shooter game engine, I believe it will bring more realistic feel to the visuals, gameplay, and atmosphere in NHL like it has for the previous EA Sports game titles. And again, I just really hope EA learned from their last time transitioning to a next-gen console, and that this time goes a lot smoother with NHL. Although GM Connected has been one of the most requested game modes that fans and players want to see return to NHL, I hope they bring it back. But for those of you who don't know what GM Connected is, it's essentially an online franchise mode where you can play out a season with your friends or other real online opponents. And what makes the GM Connected situation so much worse is that we had it back in NHL 13 and 14, but it got discontinued due to so many issues. But if EA does decide to bring GM Connected back, I believe they need to fix up and remove some issues that the older version of the game mode had. It was brutally slow to sim on old consoles like PS3 and Xbox 360, but with new gen consoles that are more powerful, this could speed it up. And they should also add an AI autofill option or feature in this game mode if they do bring it back, so that you don't need to have 32 players in a GM Connected mode. But let me know what else you think EA should bring back for GM Connected mode. Next up is roster sharing. So something I've been saying along with the majority of the NHL community for years now is please put roster sharing into the game. Games like NBA use roster sharing to perfection, as you can simply take an edited roster and share it with the entire community. The best rosters get the most downloads and therefore improve the accuracy of the situations of your NHL roster and franchise modes. This would also seriously help with playing out certain scenarios, like, say, what if Washington won the 2005 draft lottery and got Sidney Crosby, or what if Chris Pronger never got traded away from the Oilers. But anybody can create missing players as well, and even further onto roster sharing, created player sharing would be absolutely crazy. So you could literally just have a player download file, say like, oh, I want to download Connor Bedard off of someone's roster, or I want to download Matvei Michkov or somebody like that. Although I don't think EA is capable of implementing something like this into their game for a long time, I think it would be amazing to see. And of course, older rosters could be brought back into the game by people who take the time to make the old rosters as accurate as possible, like Snipe and Score Production and other NHL creators who really put a lot of time into creating rosters. And as a YouTube creator, I would be over the moon if this was the only feature EA added for online editions, as it would open up so many video opportunities and ideas. And finally, even though I wish we would see crossplay, it has been guaranteed that crossplay will not be in the game this year. And honestly, to me, this could lead to an ever-increasing downfall of EA's online game modes like Hockey Ultimate Team and World of Chow. But again, leave your opinions on online game modes and features in the comments below. So starting off our offline features section, I'm going to start with Be A Pro. So even though last year saw some major improvements overall in Be A Pro, I honestly think EA could have done more. You know, maybe some warm-up animations or something else just to add to that. So hopefully they keep adding more details and cutscenes and records and so on. But overall, I'm just really hoping that EA doesn't just sit back on Be A Pro now that they've shown it a little bit of love. Like, keep building on it. Last year wasn't bad, but I would like to see further improvements here. I don't have too many detailed improvements because overall Be A Pro is just a very limited game mode. But again, let me know what you want to see improved in Be A Pro in the comments. So although I could probably make an entire video on things I want to see in franchise mode, I think I've narrowed it down to 3 main things over the past week or so for what would just seriously improve franchise mode in NHL 22. So the first main thing I personally would like to see are more records. Although EA has made gradual improvements to player stats in franchise mode, like they've added what team they played for in what season, and they've added some records, I think they really need to make it more like NBA My League, where you can see each individual player's awards, records, injury history, career stats, and essentially just everything on that player when you left click on the joystick for a player profile. This also applies to league records. Again, I'm going to compare it to NBA 2K because I believe their My League is simply the best for all sports games titles when it comes to franchise mode or GM mode for details, stats, and all-around features. I want to see all-time, past champions, previous award winners, and stats records, so when you click on an award, it literally shows the entire history of that award, not just like the last 5 winners kind of thing like it does right now for Stanley Cups and all player awards. I would like to see that expanded on for details. And although they did add some history stats for teams and records and players last year, again, just keep expanding on it, EA. Another thing that I think would drastically improve franchise mode would be new and better animations. I think a new Stanley Cup playoffs atmosphere would be a game changer for the playoffs in the postseason, as well as, a new cup raising animation or a longer one even that's more detailed. This would be a nice change and add some, newness to NHL 22. I think that these would look way more real now, and it's definitely possible with NHL being on Frostbite. Also, celebrating player retirements and having their number or banner raised for legends on your team would also be an absolutely amazing animation to see. We've had the same customization screens since NHL 15, and again going back to NBA 2K. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but they just do such a better job of this. In NBA, you can literally go in and download other people's teams, jerseys, and arena creations and implement them into your own game. Honestly, I could go on about this all day for what I would like to see added to franchise mode, but I wanted to feature some of your guys' comments as well. So again, I reached out to my subscribers on my community tab to say, hey, I'm doing an NHL 22 wishlist, and you guys definitely responded. The best comment here came from Tommy Moritz saying he wants to see a few things. One would be a new Stanley Cup celebration. It's long overdue. Again, I totally agree with that. 2, he said sliders in editing for how many shots a player takes, like John Forsback-Karlsson takes so many shots and is a goal-scoring machine, while Connor Bedard struggles to hit 20 goals despite being a sniper. Created players also take way too many shots, so yes, I agree. Player sliders for their tendencies would be amazing as well. 3, he says franchise mode achievements similar to Be a Pro. In Be a Pro, you can see how many Art Ross's Hart trophies and awards you win in general. Again, yes, this would be awesome to have more of an achievement or like task kind of section in franchise mode. I would love to see EA add something that's more challenging in franchise mode, being like, okay, you have to win a cup by this point, you have to win a President's Trophy by this point. They kind of have that with the coach expectations, but make it a little more intuitive and modern for NHL 22. That would be awesome. Tommy also said for number 4, better use of primary and secondary positions. Like in franchise mode, if you draft a player and they only have one primary position, playing them out of position has no effect on simulation or development. He said, I'd like to see NHL 22 adopt a franchise hockey manager style adaptation of this, where playing a natural center at the right wing for a season or 2 will cause them to become a center/right wing, and adding flexibility. Again, just another feature that would be absolutely amazing to see. It would seriously improve player growth and development, and would probably also help with simulations and your team getting better. For number 5, he said adding no trade clause and no movement clause to existing contracts and being able to negotiate them in new contracts. So essentially being able to add those clauses into current player contracts as well as adding them onto new contract talks. Again, yes, I do think that the contracts just need to be improved. And the last thing here, number 6 from Tommy, said adding more depth to free agency when hiring coaches. You can interview them about preferred market size, importance of money, and winning. And he said transfer this to free agency so you can do a back and forth with free agents. For example, you offer a player $5 million a year for 5 years. And he says, I want them to be able to come back and say, Team X offered me more term at that money, and Team Y offered me $500K more at the same term. Are you willing to match those offers? And you could say yes or no, I'm not willing to pay that much. Again, a conversation screen in free agency, I think would be a fantastic idea. I don't know if EA is going to actually implement that, but I would love to see that as well. I think that's a great idea. So thank you, Tommy. Prowler24 said they need to be able to add the ability to play in the outdoor stadium series games again, like in NHL 14. Again, yes, I agree, especially if they revamp this on Frostbite. It would look fantastic to have some stadium games every now and then, and I would love to see that. Trevor Kais, I believe it's Kais, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, said, I think that they should improve the Be a Pro storylines, maybe have the players overcome something, for example, with an injury that would affect their draft rankings, or have a storyline where they get drafted in the 3rd to 7th round and they go to the NHL where they eventually become one of the greatest draft steals of all time and then one of the greatest players of all time. That would be a crazy storyline, and yes, I think they could implement that pretty easily to Be a Pro. I don't think they will, unfortunately, but again, I would love to see more Be a Pro improvements, and that's a great one from Trevor. Samo Kmet said, I don't care if the KHL is going to be in the game. He said, I just want KHL players to be here. He said, I want to be able to sign Nail Yakupov and give him a second chance. So many KHL players that I want in my franchise mode. They could be free agents or national team players, or could be created players as well. And again, I think that's where roster sharing would make a huge difference. And Samuel Coate also said, downloading rosters, like making custom leagues, special players, or something like that, being able to post it online. Anybody can try it. He said, I'm a Frenchman, sorry for my English, I try. I appreciate the comment, Samuel, and yes, again, you know, just downloading rosters would be absolutely game-changing for NHL 22. Bryce Sirius said being able to customize the outside of your arena in franchise mode. Yes, I think that would be amazing, and again, I think that just comes back to the customization aspect of what I said earlier. I think that would be a great feature to add. Kanare said play like 1 to 3 seasons and be a pro in like the SHL or somewhere else before you come over to the American leagues. I think, again, that would be a great feature for Be a Pro. Do I think they'll add it? Probably not, but again, I would love to see that. And they also said being able to have franchise modes in other leagues than the NHL. So, you know, maybe make like an actual custom league where it's not like the NHL badge. You could like create your own badge or something. I would love to see that. And one more thing I just thought about off the top of my head would also be like an All-Stars break or All-Star game where you could, you know, either vote players in to play, or if you're in Be a Pro, you could actually play in the games and have skills competitions and stuff. I would love to see that. But anyways, guys, I hope this video didn't turn out too long. I know it's going to be a little bit on the longer side, but I hope you stuck around and listened to what everybody had to say. There's a lot of great ideas in this video, and hopefully EA is improving on some of these things and adding them to NHL 22. And again, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to go down below, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to never miss these uploads. And until next time.